Hello, welcome to another EagleSix Airsoft video. We are going to be testing this Mark 46 Tokyo Marine. This one came in for repairs and servicing. We stripped apart the gearbox and we found a tooth had come off and damaged the cylinder, the piston, which was now completely destroyed, and also the gear obviously was missing a tooth. And what else is it? Cylinder damage, piston damage. Yeah, so those three. We also found that the bushings had completely worn, so they were pretty much dead, and it's probably the excess play on the plastic bushings that's then obviously taken the gears out, which has then taken the piston out and damaged the cylinder. So we managed to straighten the cylinder out, which is good because it is a custom sized cylinder, so that would have been a pain in the ass to sort that out. We also the gears, so even though it's missing a tooth, it was actually the release tooth of the sector gear, so luckily for the customer anyway, so and for us obviously in terms of our time and having to sort out another gear, it's effectively like a single tooth short stroke on it. So other than losing a small piece of FPS, so it's a little bit down on where it was before, which is 330 FPS rather than maybe the 350 that it was previously at. Is actually working, so which is good. And obviously that is the problem with this particular one, because the last one, the piston, that was probably the hardest out of all of them, because you know, there's no way we can sort of fudge that. We can't just bend that back into shape or get away with you know, just cleaning it and putting that back in there. And also obviously the bushings, you know, we can't just sort of you know, sort them out, you know, so yeah, we basically you know, can't just sort of clean them and put them back in there. So we had to obviously replace the bushings and the piston. So obviously trying to get a piston and bushings out of TM, yeah, it's like blood from a stone. So this was pretty much resigned to not being able to be fixed, unfortunately. So because obviously, you know, if we can't get the parts, we obviously can't fix it. So yeah, so I had a little week and a little time to think about it and stuff, and I managed in the end to source a set of bearings which fit this particular model. Okay, so we're going to be listing them on the EagleSix website as now that we've obviously confirmed them fit and obviously demonstrated them here working. So they'll be available on the website for people to buy, and obviously now we're going to be pretty much heavily relying on that and the supplier for bushings, sorry, bearings going forward for this particular model. It's a 6mm bearing for one of the gears, and then the other two is 7mm bearings. So yeah, we're really happy with that, and that's great. And obviously we've tested it in there working, and then obviously you'll see it working today. So that sorted out the bearings. So that was one down. Then there's the piston. So I got to 3D modeling and had a crack at that, and I come up with a new design for the piston, different from the original TM one, because I didn't think with you know, the equipment we have access to that we would be able to make something plastic and strong enough. And also I can't see, other than a softness of impact, you know, reducing vibrations, you know, from a material perspective, I can't see any benefits or gains from having plastic teeth pistons over metal ones. I can't. I mean, I know Japan loves them, and you know, I was chatting to Prometheus and stuff. Their engineer says that they love the plastic tooth ones. I can't see it. Maybe somebody can explain it to me one time, if you know what I mean. Like I say, I get that plastic is a very forgiving material. It's a softer material, you know. So like I say, maybe it's quieter, maybe it's reduced vibrations, which then in turn maybe prevents you know, cast and sintered gears on, you know, budget guns from breaking. But you know, we're talking about usually putting in, you know, unobtainium adamantium gears in these upgraded guns. So yeah, why not, you know, do upgraded pistons that are full metal rack? So I built the design differently rather than just copying it, and I changed it so that I could fit a metal rack in there, which was for a very long period of time, because it's taken me weeks to do this. I wasn't sure if physically because it is a smaller piston than is in normal AEGs. So already we're dealing with a smaller thing. And I wasn't sure if it would physically fit, but it did physically fit. Then I wasn't sure if once the metal rack was in there that it would even work and be strong enough to do it. And yeah, sure enough, the first one failed, but I think it was binding. So I went back to the drawing board, slightly tweaked the design, and strengthened it in a certain place, and also sanded down the new one that went in there, and then really went to town on making sure that it was absolutely free moving, and then this one has held up. And the plan wasn't to use the prototype as the final one. However, it is working, and it continues to work. And we even had a bit of a blast on 11.1. So and it's still going. And then we took it out and then we checked it, and it's still working fine and looking like it was when we first put it in there. So why not run it? Just because it's the prototype doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a bad one. So like I say, if it's still going, and so yeah, this is the one that's going to go back to the customer, and luckily he's a local customer as well. So we've got the benefit of being able to work with him to in case there's any problems, we can obviously try a new version of it. But like I say, thus far it's been working. It's been working for multiple mags. We're now going to blast a whole nother mag through it. At some point we've got to let this go back out into the wild and then really get the customer abuse on these things, the kind of things that kill bearings, that kill gears and pistons, because obviously when we sell them brand new, they're perfectly good working guns, so it needs that abuse from the customer now, I think, to really test this piston. There's not we tried to get the big manufacturers to jump on board, and truth is, they are right. There's not many of these guns in the world. So obviously, if you guys want more parts for some of these weird and wonderful guns, try and make your friends buy them. Make sure that I know it's catch-22, because obviously without parts, these guns will never sell. And obviously without sales, people won't make parts for them. So it becomes this, catch-22 scenario where, nothing gets made from them, and then ultimately they don't sell. So we've taken a bit of time here, and yeah, it's cost us some time. It's obviously pushed some workshop stuff back, so apologies for anyone else waiting. But I really wanted to get it done. If I'm honest, I enjoyed it quite a lot. So even though it's work technically, it was interesting, really fun, and cool to see it come to life, and cool to see the results. So we're going to test it now just to make sure everything's working. Obviously, if you hear screeches in 5 minutes, it hasn't been successful. We know some people have got issues with these box mags. For those people that have had them fail, I have no issues R&Ding some sort of a fix for that. We'll figure that out just the same we did the pistons. I think a couple of customers have said they're going to post them in, so as soon as they get them, I'll have a look into that. But another job for another day, eh? We're out. Yeah. Well, I've got some more here. Well, I'll get another one of these filled up, and we'll blast another one through. I'll do it off camera. Yeah, you know, it's great stuff. I'm glad we could get this going. I mean, as far as I'm aware, it's not really a big issue. It's just this rare, weird, you know, thing that happened. You know, we'll continue to support the TM guns and make sure that where we can, within the, you know, realms of our ability and money as a small company, we'll try our best to keep all these guns going and in the wild. You know, we hope you enjoy it and have loads of fun with it again. So cool. Thank you.